Are we okay? Sorry, everybody. My computer just completely messed up while trying to get that to play. So uh, I just threw myself completely off. But hey, welcome back to the College Heat Podcast. I'm Dylan Airboting on Twitter. Of course, today is a bit of a weird day. Tuesday night live stream, strictly just because I did not have an episode go up on Tuesday. Was on the road all day Monday. Didn't get home last night until 1 o'clock in the morning. And, of course, that meant I was not about to live stream or not about to record at 2 o'clock in the morning. Wasn't going to happen. Was not plausible. So we're doing the Tuesday show live today. So what does the Tuesday show usually mean? It means the 5 keys to success for Auburn football to get a win this Saturday. Of course, Auburn is on the road this week, exactly, to Nashville to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores, number 15 team in the country, and a team that has been a thorn in the side of every team over the past 2 years now. Of course, Diego Pavia has also been a thorn in everyone's side. So whoever has played at Vanderbilt has had to deal with Diego Pavia. And, of course, Auburn is best known for being 0-2 versus Pavia over the past 2 seasons. And, of course, this year, we don't know what to expect. Of course, if you've been living under a rock, you would know that Hugh Freeze has been fired from Auburn University. And, of course, DJ Durkin is now the interim head coach. And today was his first day at a press conference as the head coach of the Auburn Tigers. And really nothing, didn't really say anything that I'm like too worried about. And, of course, we'll get into a lot of things that he's going to talk about into our keys. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. And, of course, with DJ Durkin being a defensive-minded coach, of course, that means, he's going to be the defensive coordinator alongside the interim coach tag. So, no shocker there. Of course, he's the defensive coordinator. He was the defensive coordinator coming into this year. I don't imagine him giving that up for the last 3 weeks. So, it's kind of like not really expecting that to change. But he did announce that Derek Nix will be the primary and only play caller for the offense. So no more of this 3 play caller bull crap that we watched over the past few weeks. But of course, my number 5 is just trust Derek Nix. I think that what can work out best for Durkin, and I think he even mentioned this, having a communication, having the understanding of what you want the offense to look like. He mentioned that the quarterback position is being evaluated at all times. So there's no real say in who's going to be the starting quarterback. We probably won't hear about it until maybe Thursday or maybe Wednesday. We don't know. Of course, Ashton Daniels has been the better option out of the 2 that we have seen start. But Deuce Knight is a very big Durkin fan, which I can honestly say every player that I've seen on the team. Of course, there's probably some that are upset, but the vocal ones have been very excited for what Durkin can bring to Auburn in general. And of course, he's said that the team has responded well, the recruits have responded well, but offensively, he does believe that the offense is talented enough to do well, which everyone can agree on. This team is talented. This offense is extremely talented. The wide receivers are, some of the best in the country. So trust Derek Nix to get the job done. Focus on the defense in your now head coaching focus, because again, the defense has been great all year long, and I can even build into that with my next one and even the next 2 really going over the defense. I don't see the defense really taking a step down, but this is an opportunity for the offense to step up. And I'm not going to be one to say that, it's going to be completely different. We don't know what exactly a Derek Nix-led offense really looks like, but I just hope it runs the ball a lot more. And I hope that, a lot of coaches, I hope there's still a lot of change to be had. And even then, I think John Cohen even mentioned that, there's probably going to be some changes still happening throughout these next couple of weeks. And he even mentioned Auburn's like the best job available to, I guess he has to say that, but jury's out on that regard. But regardless, I think that trusting Derek Nix will be the best opportunity for DJ Durkin and company now. He's not an offensive coordinator. He's a defensive guy. So the best thing to do is to let your offensive staff run their offense, which I think Hugh Freeze was not able to give up. He had to be the play caller at all times. He had to have a say in what was being called. And ultimately, that's what led to the demise of his career here at Auburn. It was just his own hubris of not giving up the offense, not giving up the keys to the Cadillac, if you will. But kind of just going over from the offense, going over to the defense, going in more Vanderbilt central, you got to contain Diego Pavia. Pavia has been a thorn in the side of every defense that he has seen. Every defense that has tried to find a way to stop him has not found a way to yet. The only team that really has was last year's Auburn team. Held Vanderbilt to their lowest point total of the season at 17, and it didn't matter because Auburn could put up more than 7 points, which again sounds extremely, extremely familiar. And again, this is something that he brought up on several occasions, talking about the focus is on Diego Pavia, looking out for him, trying to find a way to contain his legs, trying to find a way to keep him in the pocket and make him make mistakes. Something that Auburn did well last year was forcing Pavia to kind of stay centralized behind his offensive line. And again, there's going to be times where he makes a play happen, but for the most part, if you can silence his ability to run, you open up the game more for your defense to really stand out in this regard. So yeah, containing Diego Pavia, which I guess should have been really 3, because my number 3 is keep playing your brand of defense. I just didn't move that one from last week. Again, something Durkin mentioned was, still have a lot of players on this defense that, stepped up whenever Hugh Freeze got fired. Keldrick Falk was one of the players that was mentioned. Champ Anthony was one of the players that was mentioned. And, kind of being the glue guys, keeping everyone together throughout the adversity. Again, there's not been I think the only one that's really been someone that came out and said anything was Eric Perry, the running back who flipped from Auburn to Memphis. I guess he didn't speak anything, but him flipping his commitment is a statement in that regard. And of course, Damari also finally announced he's entering the portal too. But I think we all knew that was going to happen regardless of what happened with Hugh Freeze. But yeah, this defense has been phenomenal. And again, I looked at the get the updates on what teams are left of the only allowing 24 points per game club. And of course, Auburn is still in that ballpark, that they are still the one of those teams that has done that. There's 3 of them. It's Ohio State, who's number 1 team in the country, and it's Indiana, who's number 2 in the country, and it's Auburn, who is 4-5 and scraping at and grasping at straws to get to a bowl game. So if this defense can keep playing the way it does, and again, if Durkin's able to maintain being the head coach and the defensive coordinator, it'll be fine. Auburn's defense will keep going as it has been. The defensive line, linebackers, Xavier Atkins are all going to still ball out. Those corners are going to ball out. And it's all up to Derek Nix now to lead his offensive staff to some big-time wins in the year. So I would love to see exactly what this team looks like. Again, because we don't really know what the offense is going to look like. We know what the defense will look like. So it'd be very interesting to see going forward, because I think there was a big difference between what happened in the last interim coach with Cadillac and this one, because Cadillac was just the running backs coach who, I think Harsin did such a bad job of, maintaining fan support that you had to go to a guy in Cadillac who, probably wasn't ready for the head coaching job, but, was one of the only guys that the fan base could unite behind. I think Durkin, having head coach experience, kind of led Auburn fans to doing that because of how good the defense has been this season. And again, championship caliber defense without having an offense to really showcase. So that's why they went with Durkin. So I think that this defense is going to keep playing the way it has been. I think Xavier Atkins has earned the spotlight, has earned everything that that he's been getting on social media, all the love and support. And, he needs the national support of it as well. I think he will be there at the end of the season, trying to get a defensive award, a national defensive award, and if he's not, it's rigged. It's just rigged if he's not up there. But this defense has given me no second thought if they're going to be lesser than what we've seen thus far. Number 2 is manage the sideline, and this comes to the discipline thing. Hugh Freeze did not have a disciplined football team. This team was heavily penalized. This team was giving up sacks left and right. This team was making mental errors that a Power 4 SEC team who's looking to compete for national titles, SEC titles, national relevance should be making. It was embarrassing to watch. So DJ Durkin in his first 3 games as Auburn's head football coach, if he continues on after that with a bowl game, if he continues after that with the next season, you got to find a way to keep the sideline hyped up. You got to find a way to keep the locker room on your side. And it sounds like a lot of people are even more so hyped up than they were for the Hugh Freeze tenure, just based off of the player reaction. The players have done a great job of kind of highlighting how big of a deal it is now that DJ Durkin is, their head coach. Kieran Crawford mentioned he's the best coach on the roster. The players love him. I think the fans are fully behind DJ Durkin for the most part. I know there's probably some guys out there who are heavy on Summerall, who are big for trying to get Dillingham or Rhett Lashley, or some people out there wanting Gus Malzahn, which, I love Gus at his time at Auburn, but no thank you. But regardless, I think it's big if the players continue to play for Durkin, and I think that it's more likely for DJ Durkin to get a real shot at the head coaching job if he's able to make something happen in these last 3 weeks of the season, last 4 weeks, kind of the bye week. But you got to keep the sideline pumped up. You got to keep this team disciplined. You got to stop making those mental errors that Hugh Freeze allowed to happen game in and game out for the last 10 weeks of the football season. So got to make that happen. And then lastly is put the last 10 weeks behind you. Put those last 10 weeks of football, those last 9 games behind you. This should be a new look team in the mental aspect of it. This is still the same players. For the most part, it's probably some of the same scheme stuff offensively. But there's been a lot of drama that's going to be coming out of the Hugh Freeze firing. There's been some TikToks made that should not have been made at all in regards to the firing. But it's a new year now. You are officially 0-0 with 3 weeks left to go in the season. And, when his coaching record gets updated, it's going to say Auburn 2025, and it's going to be a 3-game span. And that's what the focus is right now. You're not 4-5 anymore. You're 0-0. You just started the season late. That's how you should go about these last 3 games of the season. The Iron Bowl is still a massive deal in this one. Your defense has been lights out. All you got to do is find a way to get this offense to put up more than 20 points a game. That's all you got to do. 25 points, really. If Auburn can score 25 points per game, money. It's absolute money. But you just got to find a way to get these, just put behind the drama, put behind what you're reading, put behind what people have been saying about the team on social media, and move forward with these last 3 weeks. Again, this is going to be a big time for Durkin to prove he can be the head coach for Auburn. It's a big momentum thing to try to keep some of these players from transferring out. If you keep Durkin, I think the defense pretty much stays intact. The offense, on their hand, is a massive question mark going forward. But that's the future. But you got to keep moving on towards it. You cannot look back after this. And that's a good way to really ruin your chances to make some magic happen to end out this year. So that's my 5 keys, just kind of trusting your offensive staff, keep playing your defense, and, just kind of keep a hold of the team, keep the reins. Again, this is a very talented team. that Hugh Freeze just could not find a way to win with. And again, I mentioned some of the records, and it got worse the more research I did to it. And I'll see if I can pull it up because I had it in a message somewhere. Just kind of going over I just didn't understand what happened wrong with the Hugh Freeze era. 15-19 overall, 6-16 versus the SEC, 1-12 versus ranked opponents, and 9-11 in Jordan-Hare Stadium. You got to move on past that after this. And again, I think Durkin does have his own past as a head coach, and it didn't go the greatest at Maryland. But, if you have the team that's this talented and they're ready to ride or die with you, a head coach, you can make some magic happen this week. You can make some magic happen against Alabama. It can happen. I think that, again, Durkin was the best option because I think he brings the most consistency up in that spot, in terms of a coach who can continue to have this team play as hard as possible without, meandering on and putting up a Hugh Freeze stand-in. I'm not sure exactly which coaches are going to be next. We've not really seen anything. I can expect to see the Hugh Freeze guys going. Like Ken Austin, I think, is gone after the season for sure. And guys, Derek Nix could be gone. He's more of an Ole Miss guy than anything, and he was there with Kiffin. So there's no telling it, but it really depends on how these last 3 weeks go. But I just want to keep coaches on who are going to be able to keep this team going. This is a super talented team that, good Lord, just could not get things right. And if they can get a staff together that can, this team will be deadly moving forward. So go ahead and give me your way too early predictions, or I guess not way too early, really, but way too early predictions for Auburn at Vanderbilt this Saturday. Of course, I do believe, it'd be a complete shocker, I think Auburn is an underdog. I'm not sure exactly how big an underdog they are. Of course, 3 o'clock kick. They're only a touchdown underdog to Vanderbilt, which that plays into how good this defense has been. Interested to see what the quarterback situation is going to look like. Let me know what your prediction is. Do you think Ashton Daniels will get the start? Do you think it'll be go back to Jackson Arnold, or could Deuce Knight get his first career start as an Auburn Tiger? Let me know if you think the competition below. Of course, a quick little break. Other side of the break, we'll talk about some Auburn basketball, who started off their season with a win, and oh boy, was it a tight one. So stay tuned, and we're going to be right back.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
You get to thewarreport.com, of course, go to the shop and get your very own college loop merch today. But of course, only one sport channel. The best way to support the channel, of course, by liking the video. By commenting on the video, let me know what your prediction is for Auburn and Vanderbilt and who your pick is for Auburn's quarterback moving forward. And, of course, by subscribing to the YouTube channel, helping us get to our next milestone of 2,000 subs. Thank you, everyone who's already subscribed to the YouTube channel. Thank you, everyone who's already followed us on social medias. Thank you, everyone who has offered any kind of support to us over here at the College Loop Podcast. Auburn basketball is back in action, and they were back in action last night. Sadly, I could not watch the game since I was driving, and it was late at night, so it would not have been a very safe trip back. But regardless, this was a win. It was one of the wins of all time for Auburn basketball, beating Bethune-Cookman 95-90 in overtime. And there's some good things. There are some bad things to talk about here. One of the big things is, of course, Keyshawn Hall. Dude is absolutely different. 28 total points, 16 of 18 from the free throw line. So 16 of the 28 points came from the line. And of course, there were some things that wanted to see a little bit more of. I think that Todd Pettiford did not have the best game. really 11 points, didn't shoot well from the 3-point line whatsoever. Even free throw line didn't shoot well, only 1 for 3 for Auburn, or for Tahad. And even then the free throws was 71%, which, I mean, you get that whenever your leading scorer shoots 16 of 18. 3-point wise, the team does not look good from the 3-point line. 26.1%, shot 23 threes, only made 6 of them. Offensive rebounds, this team had 15, which, I mean, that's a go in the right direction. But this team did struggle a little bit when it came to interior defense. Keyshawn Murphy had a very good game, had 8 rebounds himself, but really need him to get healthy moving forward and get him to stay healthy, just so Auburn can really cement what they want to do in the paint here. And man, I still very much think this team is going to be a very good basketball team. They just have to get through the rough patches of the early season and try to figure out what exactly they're wanting this team to be. Where do they want this team to end up? Which, I mean, even then, Stephen Pearl, I mean, he's a coach, so he made a prime coaching statement, just saying Bethune-Cookman is going to be it is going to be a good Lord, tournament team. There we go. They're going to be a tournament team, which I can stand by. I mean, they played Auburn very close. They have some dudes on their team that were giving Auburn a lot of troubles. I mean, Hetty and Morris scored 20 points. Sebastian Williams-Adams is going to be an all-timer for Auburn, putting up 15. Again, Keyshawn Murphy put up 17 points and 8 rebounds. Elijah Freeman, 9 points, 8 rebounds. I've seen him on a lot of NBA draft boards. Kevin Overton put up 13 points for the Tigers, also led the team in steals with 4. I mean, there's some things that you want the team to get better at. I mean, you have Abdul Bashir, who you recruited to be a lethal 3-point shooter, and he shot 0 for 2 from the 3-point line, did not put up any points in his 10 minutes on the court. Caden Magwood had 8 minutes on the court, didn't put up a single bucket, and Philip Jovic, he had 16 minutes, only put up 2 points. And again, there are just things like that you just don't want to see. And I mean, it's a team that's still getting used to each other and used to, going forward. And of course, this season just started. So I can't just say, I mean, did it worry me a little bit? Absolutely. I did want to get the notification Auburn on upset watch. That was a terrifying thing to see pop up. But regardless, Auburn still has a couple of games to go between now and the 16th, where they play against number 2 Houston. But you have a lot of room to grow. I think Auburn can make things happen down the stretch. And again, you have another tough non-con, and if you can survive it with minimal damage, I think that your SEC play can end up very well too. But you got to get better defensively on the interior. You cannot let these teams just kind of go down and score on you. And you got to be willing to make points happen too. Don't just try to rely on a 3-point shot, especially if it's not landing. And of course, at some point you just want to see one go in. But I mean, when you're just throwing up shots, it's not gonna bode well for your offense if you're just missing a lot of shots. But again, this team is still very good. Auburn's next game is on the 6th versus Merrimack, so we'll be talking about that game on Thursday. But of course, Auburn should get a win there. Of course, it's even just off South Dakota State. Find ways to get better, and that seems like something that Stephen Pearl talked about in his press conference. Already thinking about going to watch film right after the game. So big time. I still am a big time believer in what Stephen Pearl can do for Auburn. I'm trying to figure out. He needs to get a nickname just because I think Stephen Pearl just kind of becomes a mouthful. But I mean, BP had BP, so Coach Pearl, I gotta come up with something for him. So I go Steven, I guess. I'll just go with Steven right now. He also did throw a shot at Hugh Freeze, which was funny. I can't lie, just kind of talking about how don't need to ask Auburn fans to be patient. which again made me chuckle a little bit. But Auburn got a win. Auburn's 1-0. Coach Pearl starts off his career undefeated in his first tenure as a head football coach. The Weakest Link says gave up too many threes last night. Absolutely agree. I mean, Bethune-Cookman 12-22. I mean, it's a hard team to defend when they can make threes. So I'm not going to have any gripes, really. Auburn came out with a dub. Just keep building on it and get better. Find ways to get better and find ways to, continue to be great, which is what Auburn basketball has stood for over the past, good Lord, 10 years, 15 years, 14 years, however many years Bruce Pearl was here. It felt like he's been at Auburn forever. And that just speaks to how great of a coach he was and how great of how big of a legend he was, that it just, yeah. But Stephen Pearl, yeah, big win. Regardless, if Bethune-Cookman was there at the end, then it's a statement win early on. But I think Oklahoma State still has a way to prove that they were a statement win in exhibition terms. But regardless, Auburn got the dub. Which, speaking of dubs in basketball, Auburn women's basketball started off their season 1-0 as well in another overtime win, outscoring Charlotte 49ers 16-3 to get the 71-58 win over Charlotte, or just get the win last night. But trying to going through that one, I mean, Auburn traveled for this one, and they put up some points in the first win of the Coach Vickers era. They were favored to win it, but Charlotte just gave them a whole lot of crap down and back. But Auburn prevailed and got the dub. A lot of players to talk about in this one. I mean, you got 19 points out of Jemiah Harris and by Harrison Koulibaly, which I hope I'm saying her name right. I deeply apologize if not. And also you got 14 points out of Caitlin Duhon as well. As a team, didn't shoot very well from the three-point line. Again, very tough and very synonymous with Auburn basketball right now, I guess. Shooting 4 of 24 from the three-point line, 33% from the field goal percentage, but shot 80% from the free throw line. So not too shabby on that regard. Overall, I mean, this team played very well. Steals-wise, 17 steals is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Koulibaly had herself a game. I mean, I mentioned the 19 points. She had 5 rebounds and 5 steals to add on. And then again, Jemiah Harris, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. And this is going to be a very competitive team. And again, they have a bunch of big games coming up as well. And then Alabama State, UNC Greensboro coming up just this week. And then just a week from now, you're going to see them play against teams like Rutgers and then Cal in a couple of weeks. And then again, Oregon and Syracuse. Going to have some big games up ahead for Auburn women's basketball. But a big-time win for Coach Vickers, starting both and Coach Pearl starting off both their coaching careers at Auburn, or head coaching careers at Auburn with the win, regardless. So again, Auburn is an everything school, and they have proven that. Volleyball is doing good. Baseball beat the Savannah Bananas just a couple weeks ago. Auburn softball is getting ready. Auburn gymnastics has a preview meet coming up. Again, if Auburn football is continues to do us dirty, you know what? Go cheer on basketball, as Baker Mayfield said. Go show Auburn basketball a lot of support, which means their games are electric. If you've not been to Auburn basketball, go watch it. Go to Neville Arena. It's a sight to behold. Again, you will. It combats exactly the same environment you get from Jordan-Hare Stadium, in my opinion. But Auburn men's basketball, Auburn women's basketball starting off their seasons with wins. Auburn football looking to get better after the shift at the head coaching position. Can DJ Durkin get his first career win as an Auburn head football coach at Vanderbilt? And how different will this team look? Answer those questions, comments below. Of course, I'm Dylan Larck, able to take on Twitter. We're going to go and get out of here. Find me on Instagram as well at Dylan Larck, DYLNLRCK. Find me right here on the College League Podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe. And, of course, don't forget to find us on social media platforms, literally every single one of them, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, the works, all of the College Loop. And, of course, don't forget to follow us right here on the College Loop Podcast. Yet again, helping us get to 2,000 subscribers. And with all being said, thanks for tuning in to the College Loop Podcast. This is not going to be a normal thing with the live stream on Tuesdays just because scheduling really got messed up when I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning. But I desperately believed I needed to get an episode up just because of just kind of building on the Durkin train going forward. But let me know what you think. Do you think Auburn should keep Durkin a head coach if he were to beat Vanderbilt? Or who is your pick for the head football coach or the next head football coach of the Auburn Tigers? Leave that down below as well. We're going to get on out of here. But with all that being said, thanks for tuning in to the College Podcast yet again. And as always, War Eagle.